Hello everyone! In this video I'm finally going to do my part 4. What number is this? My part 4 in my How to Design a Pattern collection, and in this one I'm going to show you the scanning, editing, and color palette choosing of the main pattern in my collection, which is the hand-drawn pattern that I've done that fits together on all sides. This one. The one that's going to take the longest amount of time because it is intricate and it has to fit together exactly perfect at all edges, otherwise it's going to look horrible. There's quite a lot of editing I have to do when I scan these in because first off they're hand-drawn, so I have messed up a little bit. So I have to fix all those mistakes. The second off, when I scan them in, because my paper is the exact same size as A3, it cuts off like a couple millimeters on all sides pretty much. So when I fit them in together again, there's a little gap of line work that is missing that I'm going to have to put together again, which is very irritating. But what can you do? I hope you enjoyed the process of seeing how my hand-drawn, hand-designed pattern comes together. And let's get on with the process. Now I brought my scans into Photoshop and it's time to get all the mistakes fixed. I'm just going to go through the entire image and just erase all the teeny little marks that have gone too much with my pen, or any little pieces of eraser dust that got stuck on the scanner screen. You know, just make sure that everything looks perfect in Photoshop before I bring everything into Illustrator. I'm just going to continue to erase and look over everything until everything looks pretty great. Now we're opening up Illustrator. Gotta make a new artboard, place my images that I'm gonna work on onto the artboard. Here they are. And then I'm going to use the function image trace to trace the hand-drawn lines and make them vector. So I do this by going in and preview and the image trace and make sure to ignore white. And then I play with the threshold until it becomes, the lines are thick enough and all the details are shown in a way that I like. And I did it to the second image as well. And then once they're finished, I expand them and I'm just going to start putting them together and make sure that everything fits. And this is the part that's I'm going to tinker like crazy. But before I do that, since it's really boring, I thought it'd be really fun to pick out a color palette because they can be a little bit inspiring to have in the back of my mind the colors that I think of choosing. I saw this image on Pinterest with a really nice subtle kind of dirty pastel color palette that I want to build off of. I am choosing some of the colors that I think would work, not all of them obviously, and I'm going to go, once I pick them all, I'm going to adjust them to my needs and see what I want. And a couple extra colors. I picked a pretty large palette of 25 colors. I most likely won't use all of these, and I'll be switching out the colors throughout the whole process of designing, but I thought this would be a good start, and I wanted to make sure that I have a palette that really feels like the 1700s. Maybe the paints they used back then were egg tempera, so you know they have a little bit more dusty and deep, dark depth to them instead of just super bright and super girly. I want it kind of subdued and sophisticated and a little bit more grown up maybe than I usually choose colors. So this is what I'm going to start off with. I'm also planning on doing one that is a light background with maybe a light cream or a light gray, and then the other is going to be a darker. Okay, now we're on to the final swatch building section of the video. I am going to make sure that I have put all of these elements together, my swatch, the two parts of my pattern together so they all fit together perfectly on all sides. And because I did have that problem when I scanned it in that there's a few sections that have been cut off, I have to go back and tinker around until it's perfect, and I have to make sure that everything lines up exactly. And this is a process that's going to take quite a while, but I just have to keep going through, drawing in the different areas that I've missed and tinker around until it's swatch. I make sure I have a rectangle that's no fill, no stroke behind the image, and then I pull the whole thing over to the swatch panel. I make a box to check it. I double check the swatch, and I change it from grid to brick going column. That way it makes the half, half drop repeat. And then you can see that it almost worked. I just missed a couple millimeters on the side. My rectangle was slightly too big, so I'm just adjusting that to make sure that that fits. So I'm going to continue to tinker on this because it doesn't, there we go, it fits a little bit better. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I pull the swatch over to the swatch panel and I double click the swatch, and I go in to make sure that everything is looking good, which it is now, finally. So here's the final look at the swatch and the color palette, and I can't wait to share the next coloring process in the next video. Okay, so that was the whole editing, or scanning, editing, and color palette choosing part of this pattern making process, and in the next video I'll show you how I colorize and finalize this main pattern. I will also show you how I create my other clustered smaller patterns that go with this main pattern. So I hope you're enjoying the series. Let me know in the comment bar below what you think, and if you'd like to see anything else, etc., all that stuff, like and subscribe and all that stuff that you're supposed to do on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in internet land.